Áedán mac Gabráin was a king of Dál Riata from c. 574 until c. 609. The kingdom of Dál Riata was situated in modern Argyll and Bute, Scotland, and parts of County Antrim, Ireland. Genealogies record that Áedán was a son of Gabráin mac ʻaiðaːn. He was a contemporary of Saint Columba, and much that is recorded of his life and career comes from hagiography such as Áedán of Iona's Life of Saint Columba. Áedán appears as a character in Old Irish and Middle Irish language works of prose and verse, some now lost. The Irish annals record Áedán's campaigns against his neighbours, in Ireland, and in northern Britain, including expeditions to the Orkney Islands, the Isle of Man, and the east coast of Scotland. As recorded by Bede, Áedán was decisively defeated by Aethelfrith of Bernicia at the Battle of Degsaston. Áedán may have been deposed, or have abdicated, following this defeat. His date of death is recorded by one source as the 17th of April 609. Neighbours. Áedán was the chief king in Dál Riata, ruling over lesser tribal kings. The census for Ânlbn records the subdivisions of Dál Riata in the 7th and 8th centuries, but no record from Áedán's time survives. According to the census, Dál Riata was divided into 3 sub-kingdoms in the 7th century, each ruled by a kin group named for their eponymous founder. These were the ʻaiðaːn, named for Áedán's father, who ruled over Kintyre, Cowal and Bute, the ʻaiðaːn of northern Argyll, and the ʻaiðaːn of Islay. Within these there were smaller divisions or tribes which are named by the census. Details of the Irish part of the kingdom are less clear. Looking outward, Dál Riata's neighbours in North Britain were the Picts and the Britons of the Hen o Galed, the Brittonic-speaking parts of what is now northern England and southern lowland Scotland. The most powerful Brittonic kingdom in the area was Altclut, later known as Strathclyde in Cumbria. Late in Áedán's life, the Anglo-Saxon kingdom of Bernicia became the greatest power in North Britain. In Ireland, Dál Riata formed part of Ulster, ruled by Batan mac Caryll of the Dál Fiartach. The other major grouping in Ulster were the disunited tribes of the ʻGavṛaːnʲ, later known as the Dál Riata. The most important ʻGavṛaːnʲ king in Áedán's time was Fiachni mac Áedán. Beyond the kingdom of Ulster, and generally hostile to it, were the various kingdoms and tribes of the ʻaiðaːn and their subjects and allies. Of the ʻaiðaːn kings, Áedán mac ʻaiðaːn of the ʻaiðaːn Conail, Columba's first cousin once removed, was the most important during Áedán's reign. Áedán. The census for Ânlbn and the Irish annals record Áedán as a son of Gabráin mac ʻaiðaːn. Áedán's brother ʻaiðaːn is known from Áedán, and his death is recorded c. 597. The census names 3 other sons of Gabráin, namely Kildich Domnall and Domangart. Although nothing is known of Kildich and Domangart or their descendants, Áedán mentions a certain ʻaiðaːn, son of Conal, son of Domnall, who belonged to the royal lineage of the ʻaiðaːn, but this is generally read as meaning that ʻaiðaːn was a kinsman of the ʻaiðaːn, and his grandfather named Domnall is not thought to be the same person as Áedán's brother Domnall. Áedán was about 40 years old when he became king, following the death of his uncle Conal mac Comgaill in 574. His succession as king may have been contested. Áedán states that Columba had favoured the candidacy of Áedán's brother ʻaiðaːn. Áedán claims that Áedán was ordained as king by Columba, the first example of an ordination known in Britain and Ireland. In 574, following the account of Conall's death, the Annals of Ulster and the Annals of Tigernach record a battle in Kintyre, called the Battle of Tellich, or Delgu. The precise location of the battle is unidentified. The annals agree that Donnchad, son of Conal, son of Comgall, and many others of the allies of the sons of Gabráin, fell, in 575. The Annals of Ulster report the Great Convention of Drumset, at Muller or Daisy Hill near Limavady. with æiðaːn Mhyorch and Columba in attendance. Áedán reports that Áedán was present at the meeting. The purpose of the meeting is not entirely certain, but one agreement made there concerned the status of Áedán's kingdom. Áedán and æiðaːn agreed that while the fleet of Dál Riata would serve the ʻaiðaːn, no tribute would be paid to them, and warriors would only be provided from the Dál Riata lands in Ireland. The reason for this agreement is thought to have been the threat posed to Áedán, and also to æiðaː, by Áedán mac Cairil. Áedán is said to have forced the king of Dál Riata to pay homage to him at Rosnare on Island Magi. Áedán is thought to be the king in question, and Ulster sources say that Áedán collected tribute from Scotland. Following Áedán's death in 581, the Ulster men abandoned the Isle of Man, which they had captured in Áedán's time, perhaps driven out by Áedán, who is recorded as fighting there. c. 583. Earlier, 580, Áedán is said to have raided Orkney, which had been subject to Bride, son of Maelchon, king of the Picts, at an earlier date. Áedán's campaigns on the Isle of Man have sometimes been confused with the battle against the Maiathi mentioned by Áedán. The Maiathi appear to have been the Mareata, a tribe in the area of the upper River Forth. This campaign was successful, but Áedán's sons Artur and Eochaid were killed in battle according to Áedán. This battle may have taken place c. 590 and be recorded as the Battle of Leithrid or Leithrug. The prophecy of Berchan says of Áedán, 13 years, he will fight against the Pictish host. The only recorded battle between Áedán and the Picts appears to have been fought in Circin, in 599 or after, where Áedán was defeated. The annals mention the deaths of his sons here. It has been suggested that this battle was confused with the Battle of Azraeth in Circin, fought c. 584, in which Bride, son of Maelchon, was killed. This battle is described as being fought between the Picts themselves. A number of Welsh traditions point to warfare between Áedán and King Ruthercael of ʻAithaː. The Northern Brittonic Kingdom, later known as Strathclyde, Hector Munro Chadwick and subsequent historians suggest Áedán was initially in a long-term alliance with Rutherc and his predecessors, but that it eventually collapsed into conflict. Áedán reports that Rutherc sent a monk named Luigi to Iona to speak with Columba, for he wanted to learn whether he would be slaughtered by his enemies or not. A Welsh triad names Áedán's plundering of ʻAithaː as one of the three unrestrained plunderings of Britain, and the poem Pir yn Faban tells of a battle between Áedán and Rutherc. The lost Irish epic organ Sraitha Clúada is usually thought to refer to the attack on ʻAithaː in 870 by Vikings, but Macquarie suggests that it may refer to an attack by Áedán on Rutherc. Deg Sastinan after. Deg Sastinan appears not to have been the first battle between Áedán and the Bernicians. The death of his son Domangart in the land of the Saxons is mentioned by Áedán, and it is presumed that Bran died in the same otherwise unrecorded battle. Of the roots of this conflict, Bede mentions only that Áedán was alarmed by Aethelfrith's advance. Wherever the Battle of Deg Sastin was fought, Bede saw it as lying within Northumbria. The battle was a decisive victory for Aethelfrith, and Bede says, carefully, that, from that day until the present, no king of the Irish in Britain has dared to do battle with the English, although victorious. Aethelfrith suffered losses. Bede tells us his brother Theodbald was killed with all his following. Theodbald appears to be called Eanfrith in Irish sources, which name his killer as Maelumai mac Ɓaraethon of the Cene Acutel Neogain, son of High King Áedán mac Ninado. The Irish poem Compet Mongain says that the king of Ulster, Fiachni mac Ɓaraethon of the Dál Narada, aided Áedán against the Saxons, perhaps at Deg Sastin. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle mentions that Herring, son of King Hussar of Bernicia, was present, apparently fighting with Áedán. After the defeat of Deg Sastin, the annals report nothing of Áedán until his death around 6 years later, perhaps on the 17th of April 609. The dates supplied by the Martyrology of Tella, composed c. 800. The Annals of ʻaiðaːn give his age as 74. The prophecy of Berchin places his death in Kintyre and says, he will not be king at the time of his death, while the 12th century actor Sancti Lasriani claims that he was expelled from the kingship. John of Fordun, writing in the 14th century, believed that Áedán had been buried at Kilkerran in Kintyre. Áedán's descendants. Áedán was succeeded by his son, Eochaid Buaid. Adomnan gives an account of Columba's prophecy that Eochaid's older brothers would predecease their father. Áedán's other sons are named by the census for Enwalban as Eochaid Find, 2 Athel, Bran, Baethena, Conaring, and Gartnate. Adomnan also names Artur, called a son of Conaring in the census, and Domangat, who is not included in the census. Domangat, who may have been a grandson rather than a son of Áedán, most likely another son of Conaring. The main line of Cne Acute El Nabraim kings were the descendants of Eochaid Buaid through his son Domnall Brec, but the descendants of Conaring successfully contested for the throne throughout the 7th century and into the 8th. It has been suggested that Gartnate son of Áedán could be the same person as Gartnate son of Domelch, king of the Picts, whose death is reported around 601, but this rests on the idea of Pictish matrilineal, which has been criticized. Even less certainly, it has been argued that Gartnate's successor in the Pictish king lists, Nectan, was his grandson, and thus Áedán's great-grandson. Less is known of Áedán's daughters. Maithgem, also recorded as Gemma, married a prince named Caerel of the Dál Riata. The names of Áedán's wives are not recorded, but one was said to be Brittonic, and another may have been a Pictish woman named Domelch. If indeed the Gartnate son of Domelch and Gartnate son of Áedán are one and the same,